water from the En Gedi spring, but it's trapped way up higher from the actual origin where it comes out of the earth before it gets to the places where people like to get into it. Now, in 1 Samuel 24, we have an account, and I presume you have your own ideas about what happened there, but it says in 1 Samuel 24, and it came to pass when Saul returned from pursuing the Philistines, they said unto him, oh, there's Loretta, she is coming. They said unto him, behold, David and his men are at the wilderness of En Gedi. That's where we are. So Saul gathered 3,000 chosen men from all of Israel and went in pursuit of David to En Gedi, to the rocks of the wild goats. Those are the ibex that you saw this morning. And then it says there was a cave along the way, and the king went into the cave, depending on the translation you read, to relieve himself or to attend to his needs. And from that you understand that he's going to the bathroom, people think. The Hebrew original text says the king went into the cave, lasuch et raglav, which means to cover his feet, which to this day is the word for to rest. The slang to rest. In the Middle East, you sleep off, you have a siesta in the middle of the day, you sort of rest through the hotter hours, and then you pick up again. Now think of it, it's the king of Israel, he's traipsing through the desert heat. He comes to En Gedi, there's a waterfall, there's a cave. I think he went into the cave like the original says, Hebrew says, to rest. And then the next verse says, David and his men were hiding in the back recesses of the same cave. Whoa, super dramatic situation. He's in pursuit of David, thinking that David wants to kill him. He goes into a cave, and he's got 3,000 bodyguards outside the cave, and they all feel, well, okay, he's protected in there, he can rest, no one's going to get through there without going through us first. What they don't know is that David and his men are, who he thinks are their enemy, at the very back of that same cave. And then it says, then David's men said unto him, behold, this is the day of which the Lord spoke unto you, saying, I will deliver your enemy into your hands for you to deal with as you see fit. And David crept up and cut the edge of Saul's garment and went back to the back of the cave. Now you tell me, if he's using the bathroom, how constipated could Saul possibly have been that he doesn't hear all this, this is it, this is it, this is the day of which God told you, all this whispering, and then David creeps up to him and cuts the edge of his garment, but he's so that he doesn't know. I think the king is asleep, completely, blissfully unaware of the drama taking place there. David creeps up, cuts the edge of the garment, goes back to the back of the cave. And then it says, and it came to pass after these things that David's conscience smote him, and he said unto his men, far be it from me to lift up my hand against my king, for he is the Lord's anointed. With these strong words, Saul forbade his people, his men, from harming the king. And after these things, the king woke up and went on it. Well, it says the king arose and went on his way. I think he woke up and went on his way. And then the next verse says, when the king had left the cave, David also arose and came out of the cave and cried after Saul, my lord, the king. And Saul turns around. I guarantee you, at that moment, 3,001 men break out into a cold sweat when they suddenly realize the whole situation taking place in the cave. They thought he's safe, whatever. The very people that they think are his enemies are in the cave with him. And David says, why? It says when Saul turned around, David laid on the ground and prostrated himself. Now, and then he says, why do you listen to the voice of evil men who say, behold, David is bent on harming you? This day the Lord has shown you how he delivered you into my hand in the cave. And some did bid me to kill you. But I said, I will not stretch out my hand against the king, for he is the Lord's anointed. And then he does something very smart. See, my lord, missing anything by chance? See, did you even notice you're missing a piece of your garment? See? See the edge of your garment in my hand? Inasmuch that I cut the edge of your garment and I did not kill you, know this day and understand therefore that there is no evil in my heart, and yet you hunt down my life to take it. And then he goes into some Middle Eastern lingo, dramatic lingo. After who was the king of England, of Israel, come out? After a dead dog, a flea, may the Lord therefore avenge me of you, and may he plead my case, but my hand shall not be against you. As the proverb of the old say, from evil men come evil deeds, so my hand shall not be against you. Very beautiful way of making his case. And then he says, when David finished speaking these words, Saul lifted up his voice and said, "Is that you, David, my son?" And he started weeping. And he says, "You are more righteous than I." Hello. For today you have shown me how the Lord delivered me into your hand. And when a man finds his enemy, will he let him go away unharmed? This day I know, therefore, that the kingdom of Israel, that you shall surely be king, and the kingdom of Israel shall be established in your hands. Swear to me, therefore, that you will not cut out my name from my father's house and my descendants before me. So David swore to the king, and the king went back to his home, and David and his men went to the fortress. Now, by the way, the king went up to his home. That means to his comfortable life in a palace. David and his men continue living on the run because right now Saul is in a good mood. He's feeling a bit remorseful, but they know it's not going to last. He's going to look for him again. Let me tell you, when David is telling his men, you do not touch him. He is God's anointed. I guarantee you they're saying, hello, you're also God's anointed, except you're normal, he's not. You have the support of the people, you're not. Kill him, come out of the cave. All you need to do is, the king is dead, long live the king. The people are behind you. You can go and live as a king, and we can finally go home and not be in the desert heat. It's not just that he's making a choice to spare Saul. He has to be really strong with his men because you're feeling the heat. They have to be tired of this life on the run, in the heat, in the desert. And they know very well, they're probably saying to him, you're not just choosing to spare the king right now. You're making a conscious decision whether you